Damian Lillard has thrown a curveball into the swirling vortex of the NBA's ring culture, proclaiming that not winning a ring shouldn't tarnish a player's dazzling accomplishments. Some people can't argue with that because look at this guy, Karl Malone. And this dude, Elgin Baylor. And put your focus on this iconic ankle breaker. They are some of the best NBA players that walked on Earth, right? But they don't have a championship ring. But wait, here's the paradox that'll have you chuckling and scratching your head. If Kobe dunking left and right, winning games from clutch shots, same with MJ, Curry, and many more NBA superstars, but they don't have a championship ring, do you think that we can recognize them as some of the best players? Now, opinions on this mind-bending question are as diverse as a pack of wild Pokemon, but let me drop a truth bomb that'll leave you cackling. The NBA's ring culture is older than your great-grandma's dentures, and super teams aren't some futuristic Frankenstein creation. You see, these basketball juggernauts have come to realize that their NBA odyssey isn't complete without that sparkling, mesmerizing finger bling. You can't blame these players for wanting to taste sweet, sweet victory. But that doesn't mean we can't giggle at the stigma of them taking a shortcut down easy street. So buckle up and grab some popcorn because we're about to dive into the juiciest and most unapologetic ring chasers in NBA history. And boy, the stories we've got in store for you. Stay tuned because you don't want to miss this epic ride. Our first contender, the king himself, LeBron James.
That one right there made me the greatest player of all time.
For so many reasons.
Sure, LeBron has a seat reserved for him at the prestigious GOAT Conversation banquet, but don't you dare try to convince us that his notorious decision was all about soaking up the sun on Miami's white sand beaches. Haha, no way, not a chance.
Stop it. Get some help.
You see, our dear King James had an ingenious master plan to conquer the NBA by joining forces with not one, but two of the top players in the league, all in their prime. Talk about a power move. Now, let's cut to the chase. There's no sugarcoating for the fact that the decision was all about capturing that oh-so-coveted first ring. So please, do us all a favor and drop the "he just wanted to play with his friends" narrative. Sure, the experience helped shape LeBron into the player and the leader that we know today. But let's be real, the man was positively itching for that first ring, and he'd do whatever it took to get it. But wait, there's more. Stick around to find out who else shamelessly chased that shiny ring prize. And it's
Kevin Durant's hands. Kevin Durant!
You see, KD might have had a smoother ride to the top than our dear Bron. But that's only because he sneakily hitched his wagon to the all-time greatest regular season team, those 73-game winning Warriors. Oh, what a sly fox. And don't get us wrong here, KD snagged 2 finals MVPs with the Warriors. But let's be honest, it's like swiping candy from a baby. I mean, seriously? Joining a team you couldn't beat after being up 3-1 in the conference finals? That's like admitting you can't win a race, so you just hop in the car that's already zooming past the finish line. Wink wink, if you can't beat 'em, join 'em never felt so cringy. LeBron, on the other hand, has danced his way to championship rings with 2 other teams, like a basketball Casanova. But our dear Slim Reaper? He's still out there trying to reap something meaningful since 2018. Durantula tried to stitch together another super team in Brooklyn, only to find himself shipped off to a decked-out Suns team before the 2023 trade deadline. We guess you could call KD a hired gun. But let's face it, that's just a euphemism for ring chaser. Shaquille O'Neal, the Big Shaqtus, Shaq Fu, the Big Shamrock, or should we say, the Big Petty and the Big Ring Chaser. Now, Shaq is quite possibly the pettiest human being to grace our humble planet, and he's not shy about showing it. When Kobe Bryant won his 5th ring, Shaq nearly demolished his own house out of sheer jealousy. And don't even get us started on how he taunts big men like Dwight Howard, Rudy Gobert, and JaVale McGee. After wrapping up his time with the Suns, Shaq decided to team up with LeBron in Cleveland, aiming to tie Kobe's ring count. But alas, his thumb snapped like a weak pencil in the middle of the season, and he returned just in time for the playoffs, only to be sent packing by Boston in the second round. Oh, the irony. But did our dear Shaq give up? No sirree. The following season, he joined with the Celtics, trying to relive his glory days by teaming up with Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, Ray Allen, and Rajon Rondo. The Celtics were just a hair's breadth away from the championship in 2010, but the basketball gods were not amused, and Shaq's Celtics fell to the mighty Big Three Heat in the second round. At least he destroyed so many backboards. Better luck next time, Big Shamrock. After Shaq, for our number 4 spot, we've got his pal, Charles Barkley.
Girls. Look at Clyde Drexler. Why is Clyde Drexler going in?
TNT Chuck, always criticizing super teams like he's the saint of the NBA. But he cozied up next to Hakeem Olajuwon and Clyde Drexler in 1996 like a moth to a flame. Sure, they might have been nearing their expiration date, but that team was this close to the NBA Finals, losing in Game 6 of the Western Conference Finals thanks to John Stockton's three-pointer. Our dear Chuck may be a national treasure, a shiny, outspoken gem, but let's not kid ourselves. He's definitely earned a spot on this list. So who's next on our ring-chasing roster? Roll up and feast your eyes on our 5th ring-chasing superstar, Chris Bosh. You know the story by now. Bosh was the 3rd musketeer in the Heat's Big Three, once a 20-10 powerhouse in Toronto, making him as much of a ring chaser as LeBron and KD. Sure, he had to play second fiddle to Bron and D-Wade, turning into a glorified role player, but come on! He knew what he was getting into when he traded in his winter coat for sunglasses and sunscreen in South Beach. Now, let's shine the light on Gary Payton. The glove is rarely mentioned as one of the biggest ring chasers, but this guy was so determined he tried twice. First, he teamed up with Shaq, Kobe, and Karl Malone on the Lakers in 2003. For what? Only to fall to the Pistons in 5 games. Ouch! After a pit stop with the Celtics, Payton followed Shaq to Miami, joining forces with Dwayne Wade. Finally, the basketball gods smiled upon him.
Yes! 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 Yes!
But by then, he was just a shadow of his former self, in it for the bling and nothing more. And who do you ask is our lucky number 7? It's Tracy McGrady. Don't get us wrong, T-Mac was a joy to watch, a formidable force on the court. But let's be honest, he had no business being on a playoff roster in 2013, eons past his prime. The Spurs treated him like a charity case, and T-Mac chomped at the bit, a tragic mix of sad and shameless. He played 6 games in San Antonio's championship run without scoring a single point. That's when you know someone should have hung up their sneakers years ago, but held on just for that elusive ring. This is Heroes of the Courtside, your stop for the NBA's most obscure yet fascinating stories. Thank you for watching.